The goal is of losing 10 kg plus, but you're not such a big fan of restrictive diets or caloric deficit or workouts or other kinds of fat intensive stuff, and that you are the type to struggle with motivation, discipline, time, and consistency, then this video is for you. But first, why should you listen to me? Well, I'm glad you asked. My name is Christian, and for the past this is gonna be my eighth year, I've been helping expats all over China and a few folks from other countries in the world as well with their weight loss, health, fitness, and longevity goals. I'm not the bodybuilding or get jacked type of coach with the drill surgeon style of approach, but I'm someone who is very big on teaching people how to become CEO of their lives, meaning that what I really work on the most is to just make people feel good, more confident, and become more able in their day-to-day life. So I don't necessarily teach people to have abs to become shredded, but I teach them to go from this size right here to this size right here to fit in their old clothes and to age gracefully, because most of the people that I help with are in that age range of 40 to 50, and a few folks in their 30s, and their biggest goal being the fact of just want to feel better again, like not necessarily trying to become someone huge and participate in the next Mr. Olympia competition, but just lose 10 kg and feel confident going back on the dating market. And one big issue that my customer base and the people that I interact with has is, one of them is time. I would say that time is up here in terms of issues. We used to say that time should never be an excuse whenever it comes to weight loss and fitness, but I feel like the person who said that did not have a job. I feel like the person who said that just didn't have shit to do of their lives, didn't have a job, didn't have kids, didn't have a very active social life, and was not spreading themselves thin between different jobs, and was not trying to catch and get a certification on top of everything, like trying to study on top of everything just to move forward in their daily lives. I find that with the people that I work with, lack of time is a big, big, big issue, which then lack of time create all kinds of negative impacts, such as discipline. Like when you lack of time, when you feel like your life is already so overwhelming, then it becomes way much more harder for you to think of, hey, let me do this diet, hey, let me restrict food. You just naturally have less mental bandwidth. When you have less time and then you have less perception of discipline too, it then becomes even harder for you to stick to a diet long term, because the initial push and the initial excitement of starting a diet will fade away, and then you'll be left with a very low or literally an absent discipline to keep you going for the rest of your journey, which obviously is not something that will last long term. And so that's why I'm making this video, because most of my clients don't necessarily have the time, the energy, the willpower, the environment, or the system to do any sort of advanced diet. And if that's your case, then I want to tell you that it's okay. All right. I do not want you to feel like you have to be some sort of super organized and super on plan and super no excuse person. The lack of time is not an excuse, it's a reality for many. And what I teach my clients is that instead of trying to fight against the time and trying to pile tons of shit on top of your schedule, you just need to adjust your output to the level of time and the level of space that you have as regards to your weight loss goal. Meaning that if really all that you have in a week to invest in your weight loss goals is 20%, then invest 20% of your energy in there as well. Don't be out there thinking that you wake up, at 5 a.m. in the morning and come back home at, let's say, 9 p.m. from whatever you have going on, and that after that you still want to go for a whole intensive workout. That's the way to fail. That's the way to burn out, and that's not the way to lose weight. Okay, so today we're gonna speak about what can you do within that very hectic lifestyle, low motivation, low time, in order for you to lose weight, and without feeling like you need to give 100% while all that you have is 20%. Okay. With that said, too, quick disclaimer. We need to know that as much as I'm gonna give you tips today to avoid you from having to, eliminate food or hop on the next fad diet to help you lose weight, then I also need you to know that those methods are still the best. There's never gonna be anything better than being able to have that grasp on your food on a day-to-day basis, to know exactly the calories that you consume, and to be able to show up at the gym at least 2 to 4 times a week. That is going to be the fastest way for you to create results and to reach your goals. So the first thing that we need to already disclaim and to already be okay with is the fact that your progress will just be slower than the usual. Okay, you cannot invest as much time in your fitness journey. That's fine. Don't give up. Just be okay with the fact that the less time you invest in your fitness journey, the less results you'll get out of it. That does not mean that you will not get results. That just means that you will get lesser results, which is still results in some way. Okay, so a little bit of a mindset reframe. All right, I don't want you to think that if you don't have time, nothing can happen. If you don't have time, you will we always have a little bit of time. We just have less time. So with less time comes less output. With less output comes less result. But creating less result over a long period of time and being able to sustain that, I'll take that any day rather than giving all your guts to create maximum result over a short period of time, and then after that being shocked and pretty much falling off the wagon when you are not able to stick to your progress anymore. With that said, low commitment tip number one to help you get into a healthy routine and already to start and kickstart your weight loss journey is to sleep early. As simple as that, but not as easy to execute as it seems, because we live in this world where we are so busy during the day that we start to take nighttime as a time for us to catch up on whatever kind of bullshit we think we missed. But I want you to get out of that mindset, okay? There's a saying that goes, the devil lives at night, right? Tons of bad things happen at night. The worst conversation that you've ever had, the worst arguments, the worst nights, the fights that happens in nightclubs, the drunk message that we send to an ex that we are not supposed to speak to anymore, the overthinking and overanalyzing the negative aspects of our lifestyle, that all happens at night, okay? And there's a reason for that. Is because at night you have time to think of bullshit. At night you have time and the space to start acting stupid because you're out of that professional and serious and mature frame that you had to keep during the day. At night is the time where you let everything go. And by the way, something I did not mention is the fact that at night is also the time where your body usually catches up with you after having spent a long day of work, all right, or a long day studying or taking care of kids and family. At night is the moment where your body usually starts to raise all of that cortisol to help it make up and recover from the long day. So it is going to make you become super hungry, and nighttime is also where bad decisions are being made in terms of food and diet. So the easy thing that you can do really is you're literally already going to eliminate so many trouble just because of this. Go to sleep early. Doing this is gonna eliminate so many bad decisions already. And by the way, going to sleep early does not come without its own positive impact, right? When you go to sleep early and only get a minimum of 7 to 8 hours of sleep, your hormones, your metabolism, your gut health all recharge. They all get rebuilt. Everything is ready for you to use and for you to perform at your best again the next day. Did you know that not sleeping less than 7 hours one night and doing that for 5 back-to-back nights raise your chances of getting injured by 30 to 40%? And also it raises a hormone that is called ghrelin. It's a hormone of hunger. It raises that hormone by 30%. At the same time, it drops satiety hormone. It's a hormone that's called leptin. It drops the satiety hormone by 20%. So basically, when you sleep like an asshole, YouTube was about to cancel me. When you sleep like an asshole, you are effectively you're effectively taking your body and throwing it right on a red line, right on a threshold of being at a level where it might not be able to function physically normally, mentally normally, and pretty much set yourself and expose yourself to higher and bigger risks of eating like a dickhead the next morning, right? Whenever I have a client who always goes back to me and who tell me, hey, I really struggle to stick to my diet. Whenever I eat the diet, I feel full, but when nighttime comes, I always feel the need for sugar. I always feel the need for crackers. I always feel the need for sugary drink. I look at their sleep, and usually we can connect some dots there, because the person who has those problems in the evening or during the day, it starts around afternoon, because afternoon is where, your energy drops after a long day. The blood sugar drops as well, and where your body wakes itself up because it needs all of that food. And so people in my practice personally, whenever I have a client who tells me that they struggle with hunger, I always look at their sleep quality. And usually you can see that the sleep is trash, the sleep is late, the sleep is light as well. There is no proper sleep routine in place or pre-sleep wind down window in place, and so they go to sleep but they don't actually recover. Big difference between sleeping and recovering, by the way, but we'll talk about that in another video. So the first thing that you can do, guys, to improve your behavior, to improve your mood too, by the way, all right, to improve your relationship with food, and to naturally set you in a pace where you make less bad decisions, is to go to sleep early. All right, do that starting from tonight. Set an alarm. Become so accountable with yourself that everybody around you becomes surprised when you stop replying to their messages in the group chats after 10 p.m. like, hey, is Lucas dead? What the hell? Can someone check on him? No, Lucas is just sorting out his shit and sleeping like an adult, finally. All right, which brings us to tip number 2. Don't start your day without the big 3. So my big 3s are pretty much the small, time efficient, but very effective things that you can do in the morning to make sure that you stay full, you have stable blood sugar during the entire day, you start your metabolism early on in the day, and also that you have some food in so you can avoid from eating like a crackhead when lunchtime comes, or like a wolf when dinner comes. Whatever bad decision you take for lunch, whatever bad decision you make for dinner, and whatever workout you decide to skip, and whatever additional task related to your fitness goals you decide to not do, they have a very close connection with the quality and the quantity of the sleep you got the night before, or the way that you started your day in the morning. Those 2 moments, for me, it's really something I always try to optimize and engineer whenever I work with clients, because it's just what sets the tone for how the rest of the day looks like. We have many people who, whenever they have a problem with something, they try to fix and to address that thing right away. Like, hey, Christian, I always crave for something sweet. I always crave for an ice cream at night. So I made some sort of yogurt special recipe that tastes like an ice cream, but that is a healthy ice cream, so that I can still satisfy my craving without necessarily eating the ice cream. And as much as that's a good intention in itself, that's a very surface level way of addressing the problem. If you are craving for ice cream, then that ice cream craving right there is a sign that your body sends you to let you understand that something deeper is going on. So as you look for a hack or a solution to solve the ice cream craving, you should also understand that the craving is a sign and is a message that your body is trying to communicate to let you know that it is not being well taken care of. And when it comes to not being well taken care of, it's usually only 2 or 3 things. It's sleep, it's hydration, or it's breakfast. So look at those things whenever you struggle with some form of craving. But again, going back to the big 3, to avoid any of that ice cream bullcrap to happen to you, and again, to optimize even more the decisions that you make during the day, the first big 3 is going to be some sort of sunlight, okay? As soon as you wake up, whenever it is possible, go outside, get some sunlight, get a walk in. This is gonna, firstly, the fact of getting a walk The fact of moving is going to allow you to already burn some calories, and it gets you active, it gets your body in the zone. The fact of getting some sunlight, it calms down your cortisol, because in the morning when you wake up, you have a peak of cortisol, which is a stress hormone. Pretty helpful at first, but you also need to find a way to regulate the cortisol so that you get back into a more peaceful state of mind before the day starts, right? Second thing that the fact of watching the sunlight does in the morning is it makes your body understand that, hey, sunlight is here, so it's really time for me to wake up. Now, this time right here is the time from which I'm gonna start officially my clock and keep me awake. And at least 8 to 10 hours from now is the time where I'll set myself to slowly wind down and to become sleepy. So, if you're the type to struggle with sleep, falling asleep at night, becoming sleepy, or staying asleep, then chances are it's because your body might struggle in understanding that nighttime is a time to sleep, and many reasons can cause this, but one of the reasons is because it doesn't see enough sunlight in the morning. It doesn't have that trigger in the morning, so it never truly realizes whenever it is time to go to bed at night. So that's the second thing that you can do. The third thing that is a part of the big three is a huge load of water that is optimized with some form of electrolyte. Put that coffee away, right? Do not rush to grab the coffee or to drink any sort of other thing. What your body needs the most in the morning is some form of water and good proper hydration to wake up and to recover from the night before, because you just spent 7 to 8 hours being fasted, burning calories. You cannot hope to spend that much amount of time losing all of your resources and for coffee being the thing that replenish those resources. Coffee wakes you up because it stimulates your brain and it increases your dopamine, but a stimulated brain does not equate to a body that is also more energized. The real way to energize your body is to get fuel in. So like, this is where I speak about breakfast, this is where I speak about water, this is where I speak about fruits. You need, like, your body needs to get some things in your stomach so it can metabolize it and turn it into energy. Coffee, when you look at it, it just activates something here. But, you know, activating your brain does not mean that your body is also ready to go. Activating your brain just means that you pretty much brush the dirt under the carpet. I believe that's the English saying. You are effectively neglecting the fatigue, and you're just forcing yourself to, you're just making yourself become a tired but wired person, pretty much just a fatigued person who is overstimulated. So something that I recommend is, in the morning, do not drink your coffee yet. Delay it by 60 to 90 minutes, but the first type of beverages you should get in the morning is some form of water, maybe just some salt in it or some coconut water, or electrolytes with that water. Okay, so big three: in the morning, go have a walk. Second thing, go have a sunlight. Third thing is have water, proper hydration, right? Drink like an adult, not like some kid who need a quick intake of sugar in the morning. And by the way, most of them, and this is something that I know that my clients hate me for, but coffee with milk or with creamer or with sugar in the morning is gonna be the end of you. All right, there is nothing good that does to you in the morning. All right, if you're the type to drink coffee and you add creamer in that, there's no purpose. The purpose is it doesn't serve. And basically, coffee, when you add anything to coffee, it loses the stimulative aspect. So basically, you drink that thing that is supposed to stimulate you, but actually the stimulative aspect has disappeared. You screwed it over because you added additional flavors in your coffee. Then the additional flavor in itself, sometimes it's 50 to 100 calories of additional flavor. So imagine now doing that on a day-to-day basis. 50, let's say 50 calories every morning times 7. That gives us, shit, I suck at math, 350 calories over the course of a week. And that is if you only have that coffee once a day. But some people are psychos. They have that coffee with latte in the morning, at lunch, and in the evening. So that's effectively a minimum of 150 calories that someone drink in a day just through caffeine. times 7 days, that's already almost like 1,000 calories. Repeat that over the course of 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and you already have enough calories through caffeine in itself to gain 0.5 grams of body weight. 0.5 kilograms of body weight, sorry. Isn't that crazy? So, this is always a fight that I have with my female clients mostly. They really have that thing of latte with milk in their coffee, which, I respect it. We all have our kind of sweet sins, but I mean, I guess it's my job to let them know that they're not being, optimal with their goals. So anyway, that's pretty much gonna be the big three. And if I can add a big four in there, have yourself a breakfast as well. Okay. Moving on now to the third hack is gonna be to work on your food hygiene and mindful eating. Most people gain weight because they struggle to portion control properly. People sometimes struggle to portion control properly because, well, they don't exactly know how much is a lot, and they don't exactly know how little is little. And one very advanced way to actually figure that out is to, calculate your calories and to start weighing your food and blah, 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 blah. But we don't have time for this shit. So one thing that I teach my client is, hey, when you have that meal right here, I want you to have a sip. I mean, have a bite, but I'm having a tea here. Have a bite. Just one bite. Swallow it one time. And give yourself 2, 5, 10 seconds before having another one. Also, after having a bite, all right, put your forks down. Stay right there. Be mindful. Talk with people. Catch your breath. Be in the moment. Slow TF down when you eat your meal. Basically, most extra calories are eaten not because you lack of discipline, but because you eat so fast, you barely chew that stuff that your brain barely has the time to create saliva and has barely the time to communicate to your stomach to let your stomach know, hey, food just came. You need to now start slowly creating hormones of satiety. You're already like 5 to 6 swallows deep in for your brain to finally register the first swallow. That's pretty much what happens, and that's the reason why sometimes we eat way much more than what we need. But if you can just practice the fact of take it easy, okay? Chew your food 1, 2, 3 more times, and this is hard, by the way. You'll realize this. If you're the type to finish your meal in less than 5 minutes, I challenge you to do this. Chew your food 3 to 5 additional times. Put your forks down every time after you finish swallowing, all right? And just give yourself a little bit of time before the next chew. You're gonna hate it, but your stomach will love it, so give it a try, all right? You're gonna be able to eat lesser just because of this. Bringing us now to the fourth and the last and the most simple one, guys, is increase your step counts, okay? If there's one thing that you can do and that we can all do to raise our metabolism and to make our body burn more calories without making effort is to walk more, right? If you're not at least 10,000 steps a day, start there. Work on that on a day-to-day basis. Don't worry about having to go to the gym because you could be going to the gym every day, but then walk less than 2,000 steps a day. You are still as sedentary as my lazy cat. He's so fat, by the way. I need to get him to move more. But yeah, I mean, but like that analogy of the cat, like my cat doesn't do anything. He just eats, he just walks around, and he eats both of his food. And whenever I give food to my dog, he comes and sneak in and also eat my dog's food. He's an asshole, right? But all of that to tell you that that's all that the cat does. He eats, he plays around, and he sleeps, and he's fat. So most people are like that. That might be you. You just eat and sleep around. And so if that's yourself, then start walking around more, okay? And I tell you, you do that as well as the 3 hacks that I just gave you, and you'll start losing weight without even trying, okay? I hope this was helpful. Don't forget to follow me, drop a like, and drop a comment to let me know each part of this video was the most helpful for you. If you are looking for help as well with your weight loss and nutrition goals, find me in the links under the video. I'll catch you next time. Peace.